Many people today avoid the ocean because they are afraid of sharks, but the seas and oceans of today are nothing compared to those of the Jurassic period. At the time, we had sharks, but also the even more terrifying ichthyosaurs and pliosaurs. One of the biggest and meanest pliosaurs ever to live was a member of a group of marine reptiles with big heads, streamlined bodies, and short necks that helped them get to the top of their food chains. Liopleurodon is a well-known dinosaur in the field of paleontology, and in more recent times it has acquired a certain amount of notoriety. However, it was really described and given its name relatively early on by a French paleontologist named Henry Savage. Henry Savage based his discoveries on 3 separate teeth, and as a result, he not only declared a new genus but also made 3 different species of Liopleurodon. However, basing an entire species on a single tooth is not a good idea, and as a result, as skulls, necks, and other fossils were discovered over time, the species classification changed. It was obvious that Henry's initial claim that there were 3 species was wrong, and in the end, only one of the original 3 species, Liopleurodon ferox, remained. It was the only known species of Liopleurodon at the time, but it didn't last long since, in the late 1800s, a specimen was discovered that was certainly a Liopleurodon, but whose teeth and vertebrae were somewhat different from those of the holotype, prompting the formation of the species Pachysaurus. Liopleurodon seems to have captured the public's attention swiftly, despite arguments that it isn't sufficiently distinct from other species to warrant that designation. However, it remained in obscurity until 1999, when the publication of Walking with Dinosaurs propelled it to instant fame. However, the show's portrayal of the Liopleurodon raised further doubts about its size, with some speculating that it was as long as a football field, 25 meters, or 82 feet, making it larger than most whales. Nonetheless, even in 1999, this was generally considered an implausible estimate because it was based on such poorly preserved remains. Eventually, more credible estimates were made, but these were much more conservative than the original proposal and estimated that the largest Liopleurodon would have been around 10 meters 33 feet in length. Based on his head-to-body length, we can estimate that the specimen was around 6.39 meters or 21 feet long. Although the Liopleurodon depicted in Walking with Dinosaurs is enormous, paleontologists have assessed the sizes of other Liopleurodons whose skeletons were not as complete and found that the largest would have been roughly 7.5 meters, or 25 feet, long. Even with the size difference taken into account, the Liopleurodon is still larger than great white sharks, with larger individuals even surpassing the size of the largest great white ever recorded. Due to the fact that only a small number of white Liopleurodon have been discovered, some people believe that there are even larger specimens still waiting to be found. In addition, the Liopleurodon is believed to have weighed nearly twice as much as a car, which indicates that it was still very imposing. After all, there is a reason that it is a member of a clade of pliosaurs known as the Thalassophonia, which literally translates to sea murderers, in addition to being a sea murderer. Most people agree that the Liopleurodon was the top predator in the ecosystems where it lived because of how big it was. However, size wasn't the only thing the Liopleurodon had going for it, which made up for the fact that it wasn't as big as a blue whale. Based on its flippers and how it was thought to swim, the Liopleurodon probably wasn't good at swimming long distances quickly. However, its mobility and 4 huge flippers that were nearly identical would have helped it hunt. Paleontologists believe it ambushed unsuspecting animals and had another useful adaptation for its ambushes, which was, for lack of a better phrase, excellent as quick bursts of lightning speed. Liopleurodon had 2 highly developed nostrils on its massive head, which it used to sniff out possible prey in the water before zeroing in on one to ambush and attack with its 3rd appendage. The Liopleurodon's enormous skull meant it also had a thick jaw, which meant it could deliver a devastating bite. Although no definitive research has been conducted to determine just how hard the Liopleurodon can bite, this comes as no surprise given the long-held belief that the pliosaurs had monstrous bites. Indirect evidence exists of its effectiveness. The fact that his teeth were set extremely far back in his mouth meant that they were resistant to damage and biting force. In addition to this, each tooth was slightly curved, wide, and smooth, with a few cutting edges that made them ideal for penetrating flesh, armor, and bone. The Liopleurodon's massive jaw and deadly teeth allowed it to attack nearly any prey item, and the wide range of prey sizes it consumed reflected this. Bite marks on the bones of a Cryptoletus, a tiny pliosaur, provide direct evidence of at least one attack by a Liopleurodon, providing paleontologists with a rare glimpse into the creature's diet. One specimen was discovered with bite marks matching those of the Liopleurodon. And what's even more interesting is that the marks had healed, meaning the Liopleurodon had attacked him while he was still alive. This demonstrates that the Liopleurodon was not afraid of even the sea's largest swimmers, the lead's ichthys, a ray finfish larger than whale sharks. Unheld bite marks on sickfish suggest that they were inflicted by Liopleurodon, leading some to speculate that the Liopleurodon scavenged from this behemoth. The abundance of nearby animals indicates that, despite appearing to prefer large animals, the Liopleurodon probably ate anything it could catch, including smaller marine life. What remains of it? Paleontologists believe that the newly discovered Liopleurodon lived in the shallow seas of Jurassic Europe, primarily in England, France, and Germany, alongside the aforementioned preyfish, plesiosaurs, Thalattosechia, ichthyosaurs, and a mix of pliosaurs. The best studied location is the Oxford Clay Formation in England. Spinosaurus, though, was the one that got people's attention because Pliosaurus is commonly believed to have been bigger than Liopleurodon. Liopleurodon is the largest predator known from this area, but it was actually made up of several separate species. Pliosaurus and andrewsi, which were smaller, are known to have originated in the Oxford Clay Formation. As a result, it was able to enjoy a life of luxury while cruising the warm, shallow seas, which average just 50 meters, about 160 feet in depth. Its presumed time span of 166 and 155 ma, corresponding to the Middle to Late Jurassic, is another indication of its success. If it wasn't the kaiju-like species that Walking with Dinosaurs made it out to be, it was still a very successful predator that had a major impact on its habitat. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell icon for more interesting videos. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.